So one of my last videos on YouTube only got 42 views, no likes, no comments. And it took me so many hours to shoot, edit, and upload. But I'm not giving up. Honestly, it is kind of disappointing and I would say heartbreaking to a point where, you put in so much work into a video and it does not perform the way that you expect it or want to perform. I could have said that, I quit. It's too early to say that I'm going to quit right now. And being an athlete or former athlete, you have to go through losses and trials and times of, failure in order to grow. And right now, I am kind of new to YouTube, but I am learning the ropes. I'm learning what viewers like to be engaged with. I'm learning how to speak to the camera, how to edit, how to make better videos. And I would say it is hard. It is hard. Trust me, being a content creator is not easy, especially when you work a 9 to 5, as well as balancing, your life with that. And also being an athlete or training can also be very difficult to balance all those things while being a content creator. Honestly, my channel is around fitness, around being an athlete or former athlete working a 9 to 5. And right now that is where I am in life. I didn't go pro, and one of the biggest goals that I had was going pro. There's still hope, I guess. I'm not that old, but I'm in my 20s, my early 20s, I would say. Hopefully, if I could go back and try again, then I would. My main focus is kind of on content creation and inspiring those of you out there, like myself, who are athletes. Life can be, I would say, hard in terms of your dreams. Sometimes you dream about going pro or being a pro athlete and, being on top of the world in that sense. And it doesn't go as planned. Injuries and life happens. Unexpected things happen. And sometimes we just have to agree and settle that it won't go our way, but we should not give up on chasing, I would say, but we should not give up on pursuing greatness, I would say. And one of the things that I'm trying to do now is pursue greatness on YouTube. I'm not the most fluent guy on YouTube because I stutter at times and sometimes I mess up my lines. And I am not the most cinematic individual on YouTube because I'm still learning about editing. Balancing a 9 to 5, content creation, and still athletic passions can be so difficult. Trying to do all three can be so difficult, but I'm not going to give up. I'm going to continue posting and hopefully inspiring and motivating new creators or also 9 to 5 workers who want to, train like athletes or train in general. And being a former athlete or athlete, right? I'm still an athlete, I would say. Being a former athlete, I would say I have learned so many lessons through sports from a young age, being disciplined through injuries, through losses, through hard games, through bad days. I have been there and I see and know that the storm won't always last forever, or the storm won't last forever. And it is what you do during that period. Do you give up or do you continue going? I remember this one game, I had a bad game, and I was really down and I didn't know what to do in the moment. I could have just hung up my boots because my team lost. I'll say because of me, because of my actions. In my mind, I am one of the best. It doesn't matter what anyone says about me. I know to myself I'm one of the best because no one knows the hours that I trained. No one knows the hours that I stayed awake, that I stayed thinking and preparing for my games and improving. I wasn't always the most talented. I wasn't always the most gifted. But one thing about me, I would work. Even in high school, I used to go always training before school, training after school, training with my team in hopes of improving and getting better. Some people might say, oh, he's born gifted or whatever like that. But no one saw the hours that I put in. My parents saw because they were the ones who saw me going to train. And they was like, my mom was like, don't you take a rest? Aren't you tired? And I'll be like, I want to improve, I want to get better. In going through that phase of an athlete, I have learned that not giving up is one of the best things that you can do. So going pro didn't work out for me, I would say. But I'm not going to give up on YouTube. I'm going to try my best to improve my content and inspire those of you out there like me. If you're like me, a content creator balancing a 9 to 5 and life, then don't give up. And if you have hopes of being a creator like me, working a 9 to 5 and athletic passions and life, then try. Go ahead. Because I am trying. I am literally trying because I feel like I'm called to do more. I feel like I am not called to be average. I feel like I'm called to inspire and be different and stand out. Keep going. We can keep going, we can improve, we can get better. So don't give up on your passions, don't give up on your dreams.